Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzpunk TV here, AKG Lauren 33. I am back here today talking about My Hero Academia, manga chapter 333. I want to say thank you, as always, to DBS Hype for getting us the chapter early, like he always does every single week, man. And man, was this a crazy chapter. I know it's been a couple weeks since we talked the manga here on the channel, but I have been keeping up with what's been going on with Shigaraki and Star and Stripe in their massive battle. And I was hoping to make a manga video last week, but I just didn't get around to it. But oh my gosh, this is just absolutely insane what we see in this chapter, and we're going to talk about all of it right here, right now. And let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. So basically, I know, like I said, I did do a manga review last week, but at the end of chapter 332, we saw that Shigaraki survived the attack from Star and Stripe with the missile by hiding in the ocean floor. We saw Shigaraki's body was completely destroyed, but of course he has his regeneration, and he was able to get all the way up to Star and Stripe and grab her face, and it looked like Star and Stripe was starting to decay, right? And that's exactly where we pick up with this chapter. So we see Shigaraki / All For One. Remember, Shigaraki's having an identity crisis because we see that All For One's been trying to completely take over Shigaraki's body, and it's almost like there's a weird fusion taking place between Shigaraki and All For One, almost like a completely different person is being born. But for now, we'll just call him Shigaraki, right? But Shigaraki says that he did not want New Order to meet with One for All. So basically he didn't want Star and Stripe to meet Deku. Remember, we know that Star and Stripe was going to Japan to help with the battle with Shigaraki, right? And Shigaraki met Star and Stripe before Star and Stripe could get over to Japan. That's where we are now. It's revealed to us that Shigaraki / All For One's plan was to originally steal One for All first and then go after New Order. But because of how reckless Star is, it threatened to make that scenario a reality and force him to act even with his body in an incomplete state. So Shigaraki had to, confront Stripe early because he was concerned that Star would meet up with Deku, because Star is a very reckless person. So we see, just like at the end of chapter 332, Shigaraki has his hand on her face and says this is it. That, not only is Star going to decay, but then now Shigaraki has her quirk New Order. Remember, Shigaraki has All For One's ability to steal quirk. And basically, unfortunately, Star is about to decay to dust, right? And there's not much she can do. But basically, Star tries to create one more order before she goes to dust. Basically says that Kathleen Bate, which is her real government name, she says that Kathleen Bate will not be turned to dust, but it fails because that goes beyond the limit of physical improvement she can give to herself, right? We already know that a lot of New Order is what gives Kathleen her super strength, so she cannot give any more physical improvement to herself. So this order fails. So All For One says that she could have protected her body or her quirk since she couldn't create a rule that covers both. And I know there's like a lot of confusion about the New Order quirk and what's the limits on it. And these last couple chapters have kind of made it a little bit confusing, but just try to stay with me. But like I said, All For One says that since she couldn't create a rule that covers both, and she ended up choosing her own body, right? So basically, All For One is saying that, Star chose to choose her own body, then protect her quirk. He says that he has won, and that now he really will be able to create the fantastic world of the comic books that he read with his brother. He then goes on to use the quirk New Order, and we see that Shigaraki / All For One is about to make an order himself. He's about to say the atmosphere will ... right? But before he could finish his sentence, he finds himself in the vestige world, and we see Star in there with him. So it's not the one for all world, right? That we see Deku in the past. We see this is the all for one vestige world, and we see Star is in there with him. And then all of a sudden, Shigaraki's body is twitching and exploding all over the place. She says that she realized that blowing up her friend's jet would not be enough to kill Shigaraki. Because remember at the end of last chapter, we saw that Star's friend told her, make an order to blow up the jet. That has to be enough to destroy Shigaraki. But Star, the reason why she didn't make that order is not only did she want to protect her friend, but she believed blowing up the jet would not be enough to take out Shigaraki, which is probably true. But Star then explains that she created a rule directly on her quirk, right? So remember, at the beginning of the chapter, she was not able to make the rule to protect her body, but she was able to get one more rule directly on her quirk. And the rule she made is that New Order will revolt against other quirks. And at that moment, we then see in the next page, we see a monster version of Star fighting multiple silhouettes inside the vestiges of All for One. So this is some goat shit from Star. Star knows that, she's about to die. She knows that she's going to be decayed to dust in a couple seconds. Right, but she made one last strategic move, to try to stop Shigaraki, knowing that she was gonna die. She's basically saying, "Hey, if I'm going down, I'm gonna go down trying to bring you with me. I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to bring you down to stop your terror, so that people in the future won't have to deal with your evilness." Right. So basically, even though we know that Shigaraki stole Star's quirk, right? Even though we know that happened, we get to see that before Shigaraki was able to steal New Order, Star made that rule that New Order will revolt against other quirks. Basically saying New Order would revolt against all the quirks that Shigaraki has stolen already, right? And this comes to play in just a little bit. So Star goes on to say, she says she didn't let her quirk be stolen to protect herself, but rather to finish off all for one from within himself. So like I said, Star is not only, even though Star knows she's gonna die, she wants to be able to take Shigaraki down with her. So between putting an end to a global threat and getting out of this fight alive, the answer could not be more obvious. She thanks her friends for all that they have done for her so far, right? So Star is saying that, she'd rather have Shigaraki be done. She'd rather have Shigaraki be dead and no longer be a threat to the rest of the planet than, her be alive, which shows that Star is truly a hero. So All for One can't get around the situation because all he can do is steal and give quirks, right? We know that's All for One's gimmick. That's his thing. He steals quirks and he gives quirks to other people. He can't simply just delete them. So even now he considers giving the quirks to the pilots, but he sees that the pilots are shooting him with lasers, right? And the pilots say that Star is still fighting until now, and they can't let her sacrifice be in vain. All for One even thinks about doing something to stop the lasers, but the inner Star has just destroyed the reflect quirk. So we see that Star is trying. So basically, like I said, the order that Star gave is that New Order will revolt against other quirks. So basically, right, Star knows she's gonna die, but inside the vestige world, she's trying to destroy as many of Shigaraki's quirks as possible, so that at the end of this, right, Shigaraki will no longer be as powerful as he was, right? And we all know how powerful Shigaraki was in the war arc. And remember, Shigaraki's still in an imperfect state. His body is still not yet complete, right? So the fact that Shigaraki may get out of this battle in an incomplete state and that he might not have all of the quirks he had before, that could be a big thing for Deku and the rest of our heroes. But personally, I don't think that's the case. Maybe, it says here, in this chapter, it says that that Star was able to destroy the Reflect Quirk, right? But thing is, all right, maybe Shigaraki loses one quirk, but I don't think he's gonna lose any of his other big quirks. Like, I don't think he's gonna lose Decay. I don't think he's gonna lose Regeneration, at least not now. I don't think he's gonna lose All for One's quirk, where he's able to steal quirks from other people. We know those are Shigaraki's big 3 quirks, right? So I don't think he could lose any of those massive abilities, but we don't know. But the thing about it is, the fact that Star is going for this gamble is pretty goated. Pretty goated. All right, but we go back to reality, right? We go back to the present, and we see that Star is almost fully turned to dust. Her body is, decaying very, very quickly, but she still has a smile on her face, right? Kind of reminds me of Exilus a little bit from the War arc, but we see that Star, even though she's about to die, she's grateful to All Might. Right? She says, "Thank you, All Might, because he is the one who saved her and introduced her to this wonderful dream, and now she is returning the favor." Right? So we see that Shigaraki and All For One, they're getting desperate now, saying that he needs to find a way out as soon as possible. He calls Star the haunting image of All Might, and the lasers keep shooting at him while the Normu is flying nearby. That's how the chapter ends. So basically, Star is basically gone. She's almost fully decayed here at the end of this chapter. And we get to see that even though she is about to die, she's grateful for All Might. She's grateful for the person and the life that she was able to live. And it's a very heroic and emotional moment. When we get this moment probably animated in season 7 of the anime, it's going to be an emotional moment, right? Because even though we didn't know Star that long, still, we got to know her enough through these last 4 or 5 chapters to see that she truly was a heroic person, right? And the impact that All Might had on her was huge, So the fact that she was able to go to this amount to, just to have a chance to bring down Shigaraki is pretty huge. And we don't know how much, how many quirks Shigaraki is going to lose because of this. Maybe the Reflect quirk is all he loses, right? Like I said, I don't think Shigaraki is going to lose any of his big 3 quirks, but at the end of the day, we have no clue what's going to happen here. No idea. And I love that line here from Shigaraki / All For One here at the end of the chapter when he says he calls Star the haunting image of All Might. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The haunting image of All Might. I like that. So we see. So basically here, it's gonna be interesting. How does Shigaraki get out of this situation? Because New Order is gonna keep revolting. That's the order that Star gave, right? The New Order would revolt against other quirks. I don't know if there's a way. We know that Shigaraki now owns that quirk, so maybe Shigaraki can somehow get the order to stop. But wouldn't Star be the only person that could, tell that order to no longer, to stop? But if Star is dead, then how can she, take back the order? I don't know how. Like I said, the way the New Order works is kind of confusing, and now that Shigaraki owns that quirk, it's even more confusing. But I don't know. But it's gonna be very interesting. Does Shigaraki give the New Order quirk to one of the pilots or somebody else, or does he give the quirk maybe to the Normu that was nearby? I don't know what Shigaraki does. But, it's going to be interesting to see how does he get out of this situation. Because we know Shigaraki's not going to die. They're not going to, all of a sudden completely nerf Shigaraki / All For One. There's no way that's going to happen. We know that Deku's most likely going to be the guy to take down Shigaraki completely. But it is at least interesting, where they potentially could go with this. right? But either way, we'll see what happens. But I love, I love, what they did here with Star in these last couple chapters. I, I didn't, I knew that she was going to be used to elevate Shigaraki. We pretty much knew that. We knew that she was not going to be the one to just defeat Shigaraki, but I think they did a great job here, in these last 3, 4, 5 chapters, telling the story of this battle, elevating Shigaraki, and also just making you care about Star on an emotional level, Great stuff here, in my opinion, and fantastic chapter. The artwork in this chapter is absolutely insane. But other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comment section, how is Shigaraki going to get out of this situation? Even though he has technically defeated Star, and, Star's about to die. How does he get out? Because New Order is legit, like literally destroying his power from the inside. So how does he get out of this situation? What do you guys think? Shigaraki may have won the battle, but did he win the war with Star? That is to be seen. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the chapter itself. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave that like button. Also hit that like button. Also make sure to subscribe and hit the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Hopefully I should be back here next week with My Hero Academia chapter 334. Thank you guys as always for the love and support. I'll see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.